Well, YouTube, this is the video you all been waiting for. This is the reveal of the first trash pick finds of the springtime for 2010. This past week I got 4 of them. This is the first week of spring cleanup. And we'll start off with this first machine here. This is a Toro vintage 21-inch Whirlwind lawnmower. It's got the crank style recoil starter that Cranky V loves. And it's probably from the late 50s or late 60s. And when I picked it up, I was trying to mess around with the crank starter here, and I noticed that the crank starter wasn't grasping the flywheel. So on Friday night or Thursday night, I took the assembly off, the whole crank assembly, the whole recoil crank assembly. And when I took it apart, I noticed that the spring was busted. Here's what was left of the spring after it busted. So what I did was I took a blowtorch to the existing spring and just fabricated it so it would work. And it did work. It didn't work the greatest, but it worked. Good enough for me to crank the engine over. So yeah, I tried to start the engine with some starting fluid in the spark plug hole and inside the carburetor throat. But the engine didn't get any spark, I later found out. So yeah. I bet you somebody just over-cranked the spring while they were cranking the engine or cranking the recoil. Somebody probably just cranked it too much and busted the spring because they couldn't get the engine started because there was no spark. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing yet. If Cranky V lived next door to me, I would give it to him. I think I'm just going to sell this thing as is. And the next find is a 69 Bohlins Mustang tiller. It's a 4 horsepower Briggs. When I picked it up, I looked inside the gas tank and the gas inside there is just ancient. It has no odor to it. It smells like some bad drinking alcohol. And I noticed that this governor lever was not working properly, so I bent it back up and I screwed it back in, and it seems to work pretty good now when I operate the throttle lever. And I just got to take this thing apart and clean the carburetor and clean the diaphragm compartment out and to see if it starts with new gas. If it starts good with new gas, I'm going to get new gaskets and a new diaphragm for the carburetor. This should be an easy fix. It does run when you put starting fluid in the spark plug hole, which is cool. And yeah, this thing should be an easy and cheap fix. When I fixed my Garden King tiller, I knew how to rebuild those carburetors like that. So that'll be pretty easy. And plus I gotta see inside I gotta take the shroud off to see if there's any parts missing inside of it because I noticed that there was a screw missing on the bottom. But besides that, that'll be an easy fix. And the next thing is a self-propelled lawnmower. I think it's a JCPenney brand. The Spanish guy that threw it out, he told me that the thing ran. It just needed a belt, a drive belt. And it does run. I tried starting it and it started right up, surprisingly. So I gotta look underneath the deck to see if there's like any tensioners for the drive belt. So I'll just go to True Value and get a belt size for that, and maybe I'll sell it, I don't know. And besides, it needs a new recoil rope too. This thing looks kind of frayed. It looks like it's gonna snap one of these days. And besides, I think the spring inside here needs to be lubricated and checked out because it doesn't retract the greatest. The next find is a Gilson 2-cycle single-stage snowblower. It's half taken apart. I think the thing does run, but the recoil assembly on the shroud is busted. Because when you would pull the rope back and forth, the recoil doesn't seem to grasp the engine. But when you put tension on the belt to drive the auger, you can notice that the engine gets compression. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing yet. I think I'm just going to sell it as is. I don't think I'm going to fix it. I got a lot of projects to do this summer. But yeah, for sure, this thing probably, and that thing. That thing, I think I'll just sell it as is. I wish Cranky B lived next door to me. I'd give it to him. I mean, it's a pretty cool lawnmower. I think this is an oil bath air cleaner. It was on there when I got it. The gasket's all screwed up. But anyways, yeah, this is the first week's Trash Pig Finds. I sure hope you enjoyed them. And that concludes this video, and I sure hope you enjoyed it. Bye.